All right, welcome to day 41 of raising funds for world domination. So no new updates today. I guess we'll just skip the intro and go right to back to development. So last night, I think where I left off, I was trying to I had made some progress on passing messages and IDs to try and resolve some of the concurrency issues with like resizing the frames and changing the terminal area. And I think I've got all of those resolved. So now I can just do that, and then it works with the multi-threading. So I move it, and then it redraws the highlighted frame area. It changes, and it's correct every time. And so the other one, I had an issue with how the data was being passed for the dimensions of the current frame. I was reading it directly from the thread when I should have been actually passing it in a message. So now, if I hold it down, once it renders correctly. So it's looking pretty decent. So that's kind of a random thing, but it substantially improves the usability of it. Makes it easier to figure out what you're looking at. And there's no errors, rendering errors on the screen. Galactic Past says, "Hello, Robert. How's it going?" So tonight, I think there's some other changes I was going to do to improve the efficiency of writing to the screen, because I refactored a bunch of stuff that made it slow. So one is I figured I should probably maybe, while it's in my mind, I should probably make some changes to how the like changes and differences are calculated and sent to the screen. So I think it would make sense to follow like a bit block transfer type of model, which I'm kind of almost doing that now, but not quite, and there's a whole bunch of inefficiency with it. I guess when I originally implemented, I wasn't really thinking about having multiple layers and stuff, like for the help menu and whatnot. Let me think where to start. I think one thing I'll fix is I think there was a bug I added where if you move away from the map area, it tries to re-render. So if I go up like that, and tab, yep. So it shouldn't do that. Zappelli, says Roberto. Yoshikaga says, hello. How's it going? Ugly Duckling says, hey, Robert. Or Bobbert. How's it going? You explained it to me one other time, but isn't... Did I get it close this time? Yoshikaga. I thought that was how you explained it last time. It's from some anime or something? I've never watched an anime, except for that one movie or show called One Punch Man. I think I saw, I don't know, an hour or two of that. This might do what I want. Cowboy Bebop is pretty dope. Right? I believe you. Yoshikage. Yoshikage. I'll have to look it up later. I'll find some YouTube pronunciation guides for it. This might be what I want. Yoshikage. Riley H says, "Sup y'all? Currently building a new computer. Excellent." Christopher says, "Good evening, everyone." Alright, that seems to have solved the map issue. What's up? Just saw your how to make a CPU video. Now I'm here. Excellent. It's kind of amazing that video is still going strong after 12 million views. There's still people seeing it for the first time. Today, for anyone who isn't well versed on what I'm up to, I'm working on this terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. I'll start up a sec here. So we've got this infinite procedurally generated universe. I guess I'm at a really high elevation here. So I spam the M key to mine blocks. Then I can press the C key to craft. And then I can mine more blocks. And that's the entire game loop at the moment. That's the one that made me sub. Yeah, the video was a real moneymaker. It's annoying. There's other videos I put like just as much work or more into that one. And they get like a few thousand views or something, but 12 million. I've yet to see your CPU vid. Is it Verilog VHDL walkthrough? I guess it's closer to comedy. People, well, I'd say it's a serious video. There's no misinformation in it. It's a high level overview. I like how the trees are just Bob's wood. Yep, it's they're all emoji characters, so whatever can be represented in terminal. Okay, that works. Now the next thing I was going to think about was a better model for doing screen updates. So those first few seconds when you say grab a rock, that hook was excellent. Yeah, I think it was the script writing I think was good. The simplicity of it was all all good. Although it's interesting, it took like 2 years for the video to pop off. In the first 2 years, I think it got like 50,000 views or something. 2 or 2.5 years, and then it just like exploded and went to 1 million. Okay. I feel you should have much more subs though, considering the amount of views on the video. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of my other videos don't get the views, but I don't know. It seems I just need to put out more content. I started working on some script for another long form video today. So now that the rent eviction distraction is, I think, going to die down for a bit, I can maybe get some new long form. I absolutely need to get more long form content out. I thought I was going to take a break and do more shorts, but I spent like 2 weeks on that one short video, which hopefully that'll also get 10 million views someday. But for now, I think it's like less than 10,000. YouTube want to promote longer videos nowadays. I was on the platform before it was bought by Google. It seemed to evolve to prefer long form. Yeah, it's that's also why I made that like hour-long video on immigration, which I thought that would do a bit better. I spent quite a bit of work on that, but I guess nobody is interested in the topic of immigration these days. Okay, this code is kind of crazy. Yo, what the hell you mean? World domination. I mean, taking over the world. Alright, think I'll refactor this, how this class works a bit. Heck yeah, man. Says play to rich MC. That normal summer wear starting to kick in. I was hoping the cold front would stay. Oh, you mean the recent? At least, if you're here in Ontario, it started to get warmer the last day. I think it's kind of nice. It was a bit too cold up until now. Oh, nice. We got a super chat from James Goodrich. Sends $10 because I'm in a good mood. First bit of personal projects making headway, and of course, world domination is a respectable objective. Excellent. Thank you very much. Yeah, I worked a bit on the actually the next video idea was I thought I should elaborate a bit on the world domination theme. So it'll be another kind of random video like the last one, and then I've been thinking there's some other business topics and stuff I should cover as well. One my other recent distraction that's preventing me from making videos is I got to work on taxes. So I figured, why don't I just make a video about like business taxes? I can probably just ramble off, for an hour on like general advice about business taxes and stuff. I mean, it's a boring topic, but I'm sure there's for some of the people who are interested in my business content, they'll find something useful in there. You should make so many rambling videos. Yeah, I want to, but then I always start to think about like, okay, what am I going to say? Then I'm like, well, I can make this a bit better if I think about it more, and then I start iterating more. I mean, that's kind of what my live streams are for, rambling. But they don't really get views, and then also because I have the chat in here, I don't monetize them because I don't want to get. You have to certify that they're monetize worthy, and I can't control the content of them. I should probably clip. I mean, the standard thing people do is they clip their live streams But I'd have to actually do that and get someone to edit it. I don't know if there's even a duplicate content problem, where if I start doing a lot of that on the main channel, and it's also kind of unrelated. It's a kind of a different style from all the other videos, and I don't really have the time to maintain like 10 different channels. I'm considering becoming a consultant in this field. I'm aware you've done so before and love your business focused content. Yeah, if you yeah, actually, I need to actually do that. I told someone before I would make a consulting playlist. I need to actually do that. Yeah, hopefully you can find some bits of nuggets of wisdom in my videos and do a bit better than I did. So what's the first thing to do? I think I'm gonna have these. Maybe I'll rename this first. how to DDoS attack. I think there's just like software that does that. I think like the effective DDoS attacks require some sort of like packet amplification, where you would like send one packet to some other server, then that server like sends 1,000 packets to something else. Those are the most effective DDoS attacks. And then I think there was software called, I've never used it before, it's called like low orbit ion cannon or something. So I think I knew someone who used that like 10 years ago, but I do not partake in those activities. And if you do that kind of stuff, you may end up on a list somewhere, depending on who your target. It's most likely a criminal offense. But you can use that stuff for testing your own stuff to harden your own things. Have any Linux distro recommendations this PC? I default to Ubuntu LTS doing ML work. I would say that's probably a good choice. Feel free to suggest, make other suggestions if anyone knows in the chat. If you're doing machine learning work, I assume that's ML, machine learning, probably like Python packages and all that kind of stuff. I find the reason I would want to choose one distro over the other is because it just has the things I want installed or like available in a package manager. So I guess if you're downloading the bleeding edge of certain packages for like some machine learning stuff, Ubuntu might not have the most up-to-date package versions. But then you can technically all just add like a PBA or whatever to point to like a custom repo. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like there's probably some niche Linux distribution where some machine learning guru has like all of the main stuff installed. But I think sticking with the stuff that everyone else uses is often better. Because if you have a problem, you can just Google like Ubuntu why NumPy can't do this thing, and then you'll probably get results. Build your own botnet. I'm not responsible of how you use it. Ubuntu is good enough, don't worry. Most data scientists aren't messing around with Linux. They're barely programmers. The good ones should be programmers, though. Compilation failure. Yoshikage. I think that was it. All right, that compiles. So I think the first thing I'll do is maybe try to take and separate screen layer class into like a mask class. So there'll be a mask class as well. I'm doing some manual CUDA work in C++, so I think the driver support in Ubuntu is compelling. I go Arch, if this were for fun. Yeah, I think the if you need like good driver hardware support, probably the Ubuntu is going to be one of the most stable. Although if Ubuntu is unstable, then I guess you can try like experimenting and screwing around was maybe even easier. Like if the Ubuntu version is totally broken, then often someone will say, oh, the latest version is fixed, and it's probably easier to get the latest of anything installed on Arch. Honestly, though, I haven't used Arch in over 10 years, though. So I don't even know what it's like now. All my AI services are running in Docker containers, talking to each other. Interesting. What are they saying? They're saying, hoo-oh. That's what I would say if I were an AI. Docker's the way to go for multi-server environments. I actually have managed to avoid using Docker for many years until I think it was it 2022 or 3? I did do a contract that involved it. raining out. Shell scripts are pretty based. I used to use TCL for ASCII tools. TCL is not that based. I have an article on the expect command, which is closely related to TCL. Looks like it's going to rain all day tomorrow. Because presumably here in Ontario it's raining. I think it's raining right now. What is he doing? I am currently writing some software to build a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. I've got some compile errors right now. boy, we got another super chat from Christopher. And we got a nice, what is that, a dancing cat, I think. Thank you very much. We're already at $23 US for the night. All right, let's see if this totally breaks. So if all goes well, I should be able to kind of refactor some of this so it makes the screen updating a bit more efficient, but also so right now I have tons of things to like invalidate huge areas that don't need to be reprinted. No, thank you. I'm debugging, and your calm streams are perfect company at 3 a.m. Well, thanks. I'm glad I can provide a service of value. Amazing progress. Can't wait to see the final result. Yeah, I feel a bit accomplished after the progress from last night. Adding once I fixed the that concurrency bug with the frames rendering, like being able to do complex movements around the screen, and then when everything settles down, it's actually not all garbled. Makes it there's nothing worse than like weird, unpredictable concurrency bugs that mess up the user interface. Concurrency and async can hurry real quick. Yeah, I think the main issue is that it's synchronization. That's the That's the really challenging part. Because technically, like, just concurrency, if you have two threads that don't talk to each other, just setting up the threads is pretty easy. And then even if you only have, like, I remember back in our operating systems course, even if it's like a single thread, like even if you have one core, getting threads to synchronize on the one core is just that was where a lot of the problems were, is that when one thread is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and getting everything to cooperate is really the challenging part. Like, so I got all these weird bugs, like I'm tabbing and now it's showing up the menu. That's not supposed to happen. All right. Depends on the language too. In Rust, Rayon makes concurrent work trivial. Tokyo runtimes. That's the name of a software package or something? That's Rust async? Oh, okay. I'm highly skeptical of anything purported to make concurrent work trivial. One of the hardest Rust topics. Yeah, I've still never gotten around to trying Rust. I'll probably just, I think there's certain things that I may just like never try. Like, I know anime is big in the programmer community for some reason, but I think I'll just stick to becoming good at one thing. There's too many languages to learn. Crab people. Anyone else love the noise of running servers? Yeah, it can be good white noise in the right circumstances. There's too many things to try every day. People are like, hey, have you tried this thing? Have you tried these services? There's a cost-benefit analysis toward trying new things versus just sticking with the thing you're already doing. Oh, I didn't test another important case. Let me test that now. That's not good. That makes sense. forgot my return. Let's see. So I think I'll start by trying to simplify the end of where things actually get output. What is this? This is software development on my terminal-based video game for simulating the process of mining blocks of iron ore. It's a video game that you play in the Linux terminal. This looks cool. Excellent. Did you move out of your apartment in Kitchener? Nope, still here. I just had my my first N13 merits hearing. There was still 29 people. There are 29 other tenants who are on the same case. They started with 61. About half of them dropped off. So we just had our L2 merits on 26th, and so we some people testified. There's some like plumbers and stuff that testified. Building management people. Then we have another. We ran out of time, so we have another hearing scheduled for. So we don't have the date yet. But a few of the tenants got their N13s rejected on the basis of that they did not receive compensation checks according to the way they're supposed to be served. So on that technicality, their N13s were rejected, so they can stay. But for the rest, for everyone else, there's we have to continue reviewing based on the merits, and we don't have a date yet. I think someone suggested it might be. I don't think it'll be this month. It'll probably be July or August soonest. Best of luck. Thanks. I think no matter what happens, I'll be, whatever. It'd be nice to stay here, but then again, there's also, I can think of lots of reasons to not stay here. So my attitude is no matter what happens, the future will be good. It'd be nice to have a change for a bit. Ontario is getting kind of crazy. There's like more and more, like it's a meme to say that everyone in the world is going crazy, but there's I go for a jog up and down the road every few days, and there's a guy who's always sitting on a porch who is like very schizophrenic, and he's always like, at first I thought he was talking to someone else on the porch or like talking on the phone, but apparently he's just talking to himself. And then for some reason when I walk by, that really agitates him, and he starts like yelling about the Chinese, and he says it's just all this nonsense, makes no sense. I've noticed him for a while, and then when I came back, we came by this time, there was a lady, the neighbor, was there, and she was saying that how their neighbor is always like wake up at like 4 a.m. and is yelling about this crazy guy next door. The crazy guy next door is yelling and waking everybody up, or murmuring to himself. Wild, yeah. There's lots more. The frequency of just like nonsense behavior is seems to be increasing around here. I remember Kitchener being a bit of a drug thing going on compared to Waterloo. Yeah, it was. It always kind of has been. It's definitely always been worse than Waterloo, but it's around like 2015 or something. It started getting a bit better, and then, since the pandemic, it's gone way down. Not all us schizos are rude. Yeah, this guy I think is in a pretty bad state. He's I don't know, just yelling stuff that doesn't make any sense. And it's a very residential neighborhood. There's like kids and stuff walking around, and he's yelling like racial slurs to people who are walking on the sidewalk and stuff. inexcusable, but also sad. Needs help. Apparently, he was, he did get professional help, but I don't know. He's like probably like 40 or something, and has like I don't know, his father passed away or something, so he's just like someone who's I think he lives with like an elderly relative or something, and he was like I got professional help at one point, but it's interesting. One of those there's a glitch on the monitor. Some of the icons. I think I have to plug in. I actually switch monitors every time I stream, so I'm unplugging and plugging in the monitor every day, and I think that must be wearing out the connection. Brave of you to continue jogging by there. I mean, it's my gauge for safety is if there's people walking around with like young children, then young women and children are softer targets than me. So if I see those people around, then a crazy person's probably gonna, if someone's gonna get attacked, it'll probably be them. Canada as a whole has seen better days. We need to build more housing, grow our economy, not relying solely on states. Yeah, and I guess the other huge thing is we need to stop just relying on immigration. Like it was, the immigration we used to have was like fantastic. I had no issues with that, but it seems like there's so much fraud and stuff and exploitation. And I explained that at length in my 1-hour video on the topic. But you have similar laws to here in the UK. You can't legally carry anything for self-defense. I don't even know what our self-defense laws are. I think they're just. You're probably right. It's I think there's like nothing you're supposed to be able to do. You can carry your fists. All trained in lumberjack jiu-jitsu. How can I do heteroepitaxy? Heteroepitaxy is harder than homoepitaxy. You have to like do a lot of research on the find a compatible crystal that can bond to whatever you're trying to bond to. There's probably some open source research out there on which crystal substrates will bond to other crystals. I love losing on people, taking advantage of others. I know where the legal line is. Well, I'm not sure what you're implying, but we'll leave it there. What are you coding? I am working on building a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. Why? Why not? Y'all can have hunting equipment, no sharp pocket tools, or concealable personal protection for the general public. I want to make a Linux terminal in Roblox. I've even seen that it can be done. I don't know anything about Roblox, to be honest. Crazy's yelling at kids and entitled Karens. Vulture language. If kids are far enough, and public shaming. Yeah, there's I've had some recent interactions with Karens. There's definitely a rise in Karenology these days. Scripting is my strong suit. I don't know, I'm not sure about Roblox. There's 28 people here. Maybe if anybody knows about Roblox programming to make a Linux terminal in Roblox. I run a little harder than most, so I guess you can say I'm hot-headed. Well, hopefully you can channel that hot-headedness in the right constructive directions. I've been learning. Excellent. That's why I tinker with computers. Yeah, I think that's a good outlet for persistent, constructive rage. You can always force a computer to do what you want, but you can't always force other people to do what you want. Victor, I suppose you need something like a VM entirely in LUAU. I'm not even familiar with what that is. I'm hot-headed too. I mess with computers for a living. It's a great way to channel the rage. Yep, there's nothing worse than a program that refuses to obey you. You can just stay up all night and force it to work the way you want. I always wanted a job in IT, but I don't work well with others, so I'm building an ISP. That sounds very ambitious, a whole ISP. I'm here at 4:15 a.m., still debugging, but had a massive breakthrough. So taking a break. Self-employed, cannot work well with others, so started myself a Google business page. Now I have a proper company and steady clients. Excellent. Steady clients, that's the important bit. It keeps the bridge channeled. Well, that's a way to do it. Keep your mind and your emotions working for you rather than against you. Conversion from long to int somewhere. Line 90. Oh. Just so Robert knows. Presumably pronounced like the traditional Hawaiian party. Lua. Oh. Lua 5.1 backward compatible open source scripting language made and used by Roblox. Okay. Never done any Lua before. All right, no crashes. Oh yeah, mask. How do you plan on dominating the world? By force? I think economic force will be the way to do it, with a combination of private equity firms and bank loans and corporate law. With the power of sudo command? Yep, sudo command will come in handy. How do you recommend getting beyond intermediary level coding and start developing more skills. Depends what you mean by intermediate level coding, and it also depends where you want to end up. Honestly, in your question, you don't specify your end outcome. And if you don't have an outcome, you're kind of just drifting. So I would say an important part of answering that question is constructing it a bit better with your kind of end goal, whether it's to get like a job or it's to get a job in that field. But then also there's many different tech is very broad now. So like, for example, an embedded systems programmer who's doing like embedded systems C programming and stuff for safety critical systems, the kind of software systems they use is nothing at all like React developers. And that's completely different from like if you're building like a video game engine, doing like a massively multi-threaded like CUDA core shader type stuff. Sudo pacman-s world domination. Yep, eventually that will be implemented. I plan on providing web hosting and probably VoIP services. I want to provide free IPTV to entice users. Interesting. I've never thought about building an ISP. I would assume that's a significant business venture. I would assume you'd need a lot of equipment and stuff to do that. Lots of capital expenditures. What are you currently coding? If it compiles here, I'll show you. So this is the product. It's a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks by spamming the M key. And there's you can also go down into the earth if I can find a cave. And there we go. There's places where there's iron ore. There already is crafting. You press the C key, and there's only I think like 3 recipes, and it just automatically crafts if you have the resources available. So the crafting is not sophisticated now, but right now I'm just working on like the UI improvements that'll make it better in the future. what type of game is going to be in the end. I think automation game with that style would be pretty cool. Not hard to expand upon. Yeah, some comparisons. People have made some comparisons to Factorio. I'd say right now most of the work, there's almost zero work on like the actual gameplay. But the underlying model is kind of like fairly generic and extensible. So once I finish that, and then I actually I'm kind of thinking about, I've been working on, well, for every day for the last 40 days I've been working on the UI for this, and I think the most recent changes are a pretty good push forward. And I'm hoping to like actually take a break from working on this, maybe get this finished in like a week or so, or probably be more than that. And then I need to get back to making more videos to make more money, to pay rent and bills and stuff. And then I'd say the next push of development, I'm going to try to work on like the networking and implement multiplayer. I think that'll be a big deal. And then once the UI works and multiplayer works, I think that'll make it fairly compelling. And it'll still won't have any game mechanics really at that point, but I think the multiplayer would just make it very, very interesting, even with the existing gameplay. Do you intend to monetize your game at some point? It's already monetized. Yeah, you have to be a patron. If you've paid me at least $1 in the past through any method, by sponsorship or anything, then you have a license to legally play the game. Take a long time to get that skill of coding. Let's see, I'm 38 right now, so I spent a lot of my life writing code, lots of practice writing servers and stuff like that. You want a place to host? I got you. I'll probably host on Amazon Web Services or something if I can. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I actually host like a public server. I'd have to think about a lot about the security and setup. Honestly, that would probably take quite a bit of research. I'd probably want to lock it down fairly well because my audience is very. I have a very technical audience, so I assume, if they would be at a high likelihood of getting hacked. Could be P2P. Yeah, I was actually contemplating just releasing a P2P multiplayer version, like an unauthenticated multiplayer where you just you host it yourself on a server, like you just local host whatever, and then you could connect to that with players. That would probably be, for my audience, that would probably be acceptable. What language is that? This is Java. Is that stock Ubuntu GNOME theme? Yep, it's just a basic default. think you should spend a stream just ricing. I'm not familiar with that term. I think I've heard that used. I don't know what it means in this context. Does L2P L2P have more websites? Last time I visited, I barely found anything. I'm not sure I understand that question. Facebook keeps a catalog of programmers that leave the platform. A catalog of programmers that leave the platform. What do you mean by that? Like people that use their API and then quit using it? Rick Wills says, "Hi, how's it going? Racing equals blinging up, usually like a car." This install is basically, I consider this like a throwaway. There's nothing on this computer. And I may just wipe it randomly if need be. Some people use L2P and Tor. I don't use either of those. But for like P2P, a version of this, I mean, just like something that'll you just bind to a port and serve it up. Racing is cosmetic enhancement. Pretty sure it came from car community. Okay. They're rumored to track them because they considered them a threat. Interesting. Yeah, honestly, over time, like having done social media for years and like posted stuff that, like if you post stuff and then your stuff doesn't pop off, you're like, the platform is bad or something, or the platform is censoring me or something, and people will be like, "Oh, your content is just bad." But I'm pretty sure that Facebook actively censors, or like I think I'm in some kind of shadow ban category on Facebook, because ever since like they were really aggressive at banning my stuff early on for like no reason. Remember to track them because they consider them a threat. I wonder what they like but they mean like a business competitive threat, or that they think programmers will like attack the website or something. Last Facebook post is 2009. That's a while ago. I use Tor all the time, but it gets pretty disgusting on some of those sites. Yeah, I don't visit that stuff at all. Port binding is fun. Deleted Facebook 14 years ago. I deleted mine 2014 or something. Facebook considering programmers a threat is hilarious. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of us out there. I think it's a latter, a security threat, not a competitive threat. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder what they mean by. Yeah, actually, that would actually explain why I get banned so much. Like I was using. I tried using Facebook for advertising for a while, but their platform is just so completely broken, and yeah, I mean that would explain a lot, because for a long time I would try to visit the page, and it would take like 30 seconds to load, and it was just so many things just seemed like they were completely broken for me. So I must be in like their shadow ban, like in the advertising. I tried it for a while, and it just never really worked. It was always buggy, full of errors, and then I had a thing to I had some leads campaigns and stuff, and then I just shut them down because the API, I kept, one day it just stopped working. Their API wasn't. It would throw these errors, and then I followed their documentation. And it just the amount of maintenance was so much. So, my favorite Silicon Valley billionaire psycho. When all is said and done, I'll never use his social media, but I like Llama. I think PyWireTorch is the only stock product I use. I like. Facebook seems to do a better job at making frameworks. Yeah, the React framework is a pretty golden hit. can barely use I can barely use the Facebook app. So glitchy. I use FB Lite on my phone for Marketplace. I found a lot of Facebook stuff. That's why I've just assumed I'm kind of shadow banned or something, because like there's just like things on the main page that are broken and were broken for like ages and ages. And it made me think like a normal person would never use Facebook if it was this broken. Like just even accessing facebook.com, I'd had trouble. Instead of asking Robert, why not Rust, we should ask, why not Kotlin? Kotlin versus Java is a much better comparison. Plus, learning Kotlin as a Java dev is pretty simple. I guess I could, but it's just some new thing to learn. At some level, like all the new things that you could learn are like a DDoS attack. If there's like, I can only learn so many things. Don't think anyone told him to use Rust. Yeah, I do get, I guess I haven't for a while. I'm not sure why that came up now, but it does come up frequently. Wow9 says, hi, how's it going? My web hosting services won't have a sign up or user page. It'll be call in or email to my mail fence address with a request and wait for 30 minutes. I like to learn the bad things first. I mean, just to get the feedback from customers, I guess. Oh, that's why. Upload bot says, "Do you remember me?" I came back. Maybe if you're one of those people who ask me to remember you, then I do remember you. But other than that, I don't. Support of YouTube. I really don't think that that is the official support of YouTube user. Something tells me that you're a phony. His brain is in focus mode. Not anymore. Remember me from a couple of months ago? Nope. How are you going to use the money? The first step one is going to be build a deep water port in an uninhabited island in northern Canada, and then start a new country. Areth Rayan says, "Hello again. How's it going?" I think you were trying to reach 16 donuts. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a while ago now. There are too many people on the internet to remember. I like the plan. Excellent. I think it's a pretty good plan. I got this recommended again. Hello again. How's it going? Right. So this is simplified. This has simplified the printing code. The eventual plan will be to kind of make this, back this out from here. And then we can start using like a bit mask layer for keeping track of changes and differences. And then eventually some of this like masking stuff, it'll make it, I think, a little bit more work, but I can also push some of this masking stuff back into the individual threads, so that'll make the overall thing faster. And I can also make this a bit smarter so it like works with subsets. All right, let's see. Now, if this doesn't work, it'll totally, completely break everything. Wish you the best of luck, my friend. Thank you. I like to think I'm unusual enough to remember. We'll see you in a month. Or we won't, Robert. Wow, did it actually work? That is awesome. Nice. Amazing. Yeah, your handle and there's not too many people building an ISP, so that's memorable. And also, you've chattered a bit. Some people stop by, say a couple things, and leave. And then also the, I guess the icon too can kind of stand out. Do you intend to advertise the game and hire video game testers with money? So the money, that's just for the world domination part, but for the game, technically I consider what I'm doing right now advertisement. I'd say hiring testers. What the game really needs is more development at the moment. All right, that seems to work. Oh, actually, I didn't test the most important thing, which is the menu. You plan on doing self-hosted version? I'm going to ask as someone who's addicted to hosting. I think I would. I prefer to keep everything under control, because if I have a hosted version, I have to like control the experience. I don't want to. I don't want to outsource the like DevOps stuff. I probably want to. I'd be concerned about like especially with this audience, like type 1 in the chat if you have computer hacking skills. We'll see how many of the 26 in the chat have computer hacking skills. No one? I think you're lying. Have you thought of a name for the game, or have you already named it? Yeah, we got one. Cave Clicker. I think I've just been calling it Terminal Block Mining Game. Honestly, the implementation of the game it's an infinite world of just blocks of anything. So the internal representation is literally just like a matrix. So the game can be anything. And I have ideas and ambitions to like add tons more block types and could develop the game in a really abstract way with just like a matrix of blocks. So it could even involve. I could extend it. I think a good way to start it would be like including more like natural elements and stuff. I think that's actually kind of an original. Like if you imagine Minecraft, but like a more realistic version of Minecraft with all elements of the periodic table, and the mining was actually it was actually about mining. So you could mine you could pick up clay and then like you would have be like stoichiometrically consistent. I'm getting there. Yeah, there's with this audience in particular, I'd have to, if I host something public, I'd want to make sure it's secure. I'd probably want to host it on like a cloud service, just in case it, so that way that's in place, because I'm sure we could DDoS and stuff. Game looks cool. Reminds me of projects I did in school. Do you use any algorithms for the game logic, like A-star for pathing? There's no pathfinding at all at the moment. It's basically you just have your cursor, move around, and then press the M key to mine the blocks, and then they show up in your inventory. But most of the work so far has just gone into building the UI. gotten good at interception. I guess if you're building an ISP, you would be able to do a lot of bad stuff. Hacking's not that hard. If an attacker wants to hurt you, they will. Fallbacks and safety nets are expensive. Yeah, if you get targeted by someone who's motivated, then you're gonna have a bad day either way. But at least with cloud services, you can set up. There's some firewalls. There's some tools at your disposal. Oh, I completely forgot to check the help menu. I don't know much about hacking, but it seems to me that it's more about social engineering and actual technical know-how. Yeah, honestly, whenever you a lot of the, especially historically, a lot of things where you search how to hack, they're all just social engineering attacks. You call someone up and be like, "Hey, I need the password. Give me the password." And they're like, "Okay." That's not impressive hacking, but there are real sophisticated hacks. I think Russia figured out how to hack, how to create a valid Microsoft certificate or something like that, and they were able to get Microsoft internal emails. So many hacking tools available without needing to code. It's true. Cloud services are probably the safest thing for small devs. Self-hosting is just asking for trouble. Yeah, especially in this day and age, there's so many things. At least the cloud service infrastructure is well tested. Okay, excellent. This works. So one of the things eventually to do is make it so that scrolling this menu doesn't make it flash like that all the time. I got Kali as my daily driver. There's some pretty cool tools. Yeah, I've messed around with Kali Linux a little bit, but not too much. Anyway, I think tonight I made some decent progress, and I'll probably leave it there for tonight. So that'll be it for tonight. Have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow.